Hi there, I'm going to take you through how to set up a control rig for a skeletal mesh in Unreal Engine 5.3. This is something that I've just been learning on the Unreal Fellowship. It's the first time I've tried to do this, so you're going to follow along with me. And I think you'll find it useful to learn how to do this in Unreal 5.3. So the first thing to do is to create the control rig. We need to find a skeletal mesh for our character. I'm using the Cute Robot, which was developed by Marcello Barrio. Loads of really lovely 3D characters made by this guy, and I'd recommend it. Just make sure that it has the Epic Skeleton rig if you want to do any sort of retargeting with it. Now if I bring across what it actually looks like, this is the robot. Slow my camera down a bit. So it's got the entire bone rig here, so we've got spines, shoulder, arms. It's very, very straightforward, and it's based on the Epic rig. So as long as you're using an Epic rig on your robot or your whatever it is you're using, you'll find this will be exactly the same, because it's the same skeleton rig, same names in everything we do. If you want to refer to another example, there is the mannequin in. Find out all my folders. Let's just do a search for Quinn. There she is. There's Manny is the male and Quinn is the female. These are the animation sequences. So I'm going to filter by what do I want? I want the skeletal mesh. So I'm going to filter that by skeletal mesh. There you go. Skeletal mesh, Quinn simple and Quinn. So if I open up the simple version, you will see here, this is the Epic Games standard rig, and if we look for the control rig version of this, so I'm going to turn off the skeletal mesh filter. I'm going to search instead for control rig, and nothing for Quinn. Let's just go and look through all of them. Control rig for mannequin. So we got two here, but this is the more complicated version. You can refer to this mannequin, comes with your standard assets. If you opened up with the third-party content, also the basic content, you will find the control rig included in that. Has it opened? Checking all my windows. Where is it? There it is. So let's just bring that in here. There we go. So now we can see the control rig. So this is what we try to build with our Cute Robot. So we can see we can control the head, and we got control of the pelvis, root controls. Okay, I'm not going to take you through making the whole thing because I want this video to be quick, but we're going to just go through the basics of how you set it up, and then you'll be able to follow along on your own after that. So let's go back to our Cute Robot. The first thing you've got to do is to build the control rig. For that you need to find the skeletal mesh, which is this one. We can see in the window there it says skeletal mesh. Next to the Cute Robot, we've also got the skeleton and the physics body. There is a static mesh as well somewhere, but we don't need that to build the control rig. So you're going to right click and go up to create and find control rig, and it's just going to create a control rig for this asset. Sticks it there exactly where you need it. The question mark, if you've not seen it before, ignore it. That's part of source control. I'm connected to my Perforce server at the moment, so ignore all of the little ticks and things in the corner. Let's open up the control rig for the Cute Robot. Now if you've not seen the control rig before, if you want to look at the video I posted recently on how to do this on a physical rigid body, I used a moving light from the theatre as an example. That will give you the basics. Here we're just going to talk through how to set up a couple of the complex parts of this model, mainly the IK chain, which is a different system. So the first thing to do is to set up the first root bone. To do that, we're going to press Control N for Control New, and it's going to stick the hips down there. That is the first control bone, and it's put it right in the middle. We're going to go down here to our shape information, shape properties, and we're going to change how this looks to a circle thick. And if I just lock this scale so it can scale proportionally, we're going to make it larger. And then I'm going to spin it around by 90 degrees. Oh, wrong axis. It's very hard to see. I've had to make my windows small here so that I can squeeze it into OBS. So that's 90 degrees. I've spun that by. Makes it a little bit bigger so I can grab it easily. There you go, and that's our first control system for the hips, which in this instance is also acting as the root. I might need another one on top of that, we'll see. So then we got the spine. I'm going to select all of these, and then I'm going to right click here, new, and add controls for selected. This is kind of the same as what we just did, except before Control N just did a new control. If I do this, it's going to automatically unparent these from their chain. The hips is at the top of the chain, so it starts at the top of the root. But if I just hit new control here, it will put it in the hierarchy for the bones, which does work, but it's not really advisable. So I'm going to delete that. So now I've got my spine controls, and they will all be in the correct hierarchy. So I'm just going to drag those on top of the hips because that's where they're going to be referenced from. Now these should all be relative to that hip bone. I need to see the bones ideally, so I'm going to go into show here, go to character, bones, and all hierarchy. It's going to turn on my bones so I can clearly see what's going on with my bones there. Let's put something at the floor there, which is one of the spines, which is a bit odd. Don't know why it's done that. So I've got my first spine here. So I'm just going to create a arrow, and I'm going to use this location tool just to push it out. Bear in mind that there's two sets of locations. One is the actual transform, and the other one is where the shape itself is. Well, that's not the arrow I wanted. I wanted a one arrow. Well, it seems obvious it would be at the top, but it's not. Right, and then I'm going to spin it by 90, and spin it again by 90. Oh no, wrong axis again. That's at a very weird angle. There we go. So now I've got this arrow. It needs to come out a little bit further. And that's going to be the control for the first spine. Now I don't know why this spine has gone on the floor here, so I'm actually going to... Oh, is it because it's not actually parented to the one underneath it? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to create these from scratch using the first tool rather than select clicking, because I've probably done something wrong there. So I've got my first spine, and then my second spine, new, add controls for selected. That's better, it's in the right place now. Click and drag that into the hierarchy. Spine 2, new, add controls for selected. And then I'll do it again for the neck. New, add controls for selected. And I'm going to do the head as well while I'm at it. Add controls for selected. Okay. So open those up, make sure that, oh no, they haven't quite gone into the chain correctly. There we go. And let's finish off making arrows out the rest of these. So now I've got some idea of the location. I'm just going to copy and paste my shape transform. Can I do that? Copy all properties and group. So I want arrow thick, and I'm going to paste those properties. Just put it in the same place relative to that bone. Take my next one, arrow thick, paste the properties and group, and the neck, arrow thick, paste the properties and group. There we go, so I've got those. And finally the head bone. It's going to be a bit different. I'm going to make this one, let's do a hexagon just to change it up. And we're going to spin it. I'm going to get the right axis this time. Lock the scale so that they all scale proportionally. I'm going to drag it out, and it's going to live just there underneath the head, so it's easy to grab. Okay. And now I need to connect these up to the bones. And now this is quite straightforward, but it doesn't always work for me if I'm honest. So let's just give it a go. Right, we need the forward solver. Forward solver means that it's it's going to interpret the bones onto the controls onto the bones, as opposed to a backward solver, which puts the control moves the bone information back onto the controls, and you can do that by clicking up here to a construction event, and that then is a backward solve. But a forward solve goes forwards. So we're going to take all of these controls here that we created. I'm going to click and drag them into my blueprint and do get control. And it should have created all of them, but it hasn't. It's just done the one. It should have done that for all of them. Let's try these ones. Get control. There we go. So I've got my hips. Let's just spread these all out a bit. Right, there we go. Just needs a bit of space. It's really hard working on such a small bit of my screen. I'm sure it's hard for you to see as well, but it's the best way to get everything in view the whole time. Right. Okay, sort of neat. And now we need to get the bones that those relate to. So we're going to go up here, get these bones, we go up to the head, we're going to click and drag these in, and we're going to go set bone. So we've got a get and a set, and there they all are. Okay, and I'm going to leave those there. This is not going to be the neatest connection ever, but it demonstrates a point. We're connecting up all these execute pins because this is going to tell all of the bones that they have to turn on. And then the thing that's going to drive those, if we go in and have a look at what's actually happening, this bone it needs a value. This is the value we're going to connect, and we've got that here. That's the information that's coming out. The control is the transform. So each one of these is going to connect up to its respective bone. So each control to each bone. And in theory, if I've kept my orientation correct, yeah, so this isn't really the best way of doing this. I should really be moving them closer, but it makes it nice and visual exactly which one's controlling which. And then the last one, so that should be, because I went down the order, it should be the head at the end. Item, click on that, head bone, item, neck bone. Let's just check the bottom two. Head, neck, there we go. This is a lot easier when you haven't got such a small screen. So that's very visual, very clear, exactly what's going on there. And that is the spine all connected, so we'll compile that. And that should then start working. So if I grab my spine here, I can now start moving my spine around. Now if you want to reset this, you press Ctrl G, not Ctrl Z. Ctrl Z will put it back, it undoes it, but it does take a little while, it processes it, and actually all you're trying to do is put your movements back. So this is a good rule anyway for animation, just press Ctrl G. There's my head control. Just see if I can grab rotation, there we go. So now we've got a nice bit of movement there on the head. Ctrl G to put it back. Right, let's have a look at the IKs now for the arms and the legs. I'm just going to do one of these because you can see now how easy it is to set up the spine. That's, you know, everything in the centre. And if I do one arm, it will be exactly the same process for all of the arms and all the legs, and the fingers is exactly the same process as the spine. So I've then taught you everything you need to know about setting up an IK rig for a character. So I'm just going to collapse this down from the spine. In fact, no, I'm not. I need to work out where does the arm start from. So I've got a shoulder here, the right shoulder. It comes from spine 2. So from Control 2 for spine 2 here, that is going to be the root of the hierarchy for the next section, which is going to be the right shoulder. So I'm going to take the right shoulder here, and I'm going to collect the right arm and the right forearm. Now these will be the bones that we're going to be using. Now I don't actually need all three of these to make an IK move. If I was going to do an FK, forward kinematics, that would be each joint driven by the one behind it. So if I move this one, it's going to move the first one, and they all move respective to each other. An IK, you just grab the wrist and it's like a puppet, you just move it around like this. So you need two things. You need the IK, which is going to move it around, so that's your handle that sort of controls the entire bone chain, and then you've got another one on the elbow, which is a pole that comes out of it, and that tells the elbow where to point. So I'll move this around, but my elbow could be up here or it could be down here. So we just need the one. So we need one on the right forearm here, which will be a control, build the same way, and that's going to get parented to spine 2, because that's where it would live, on the bone chain. Okay, so let's create a box for this one. Box thick. Did I choose the hand? I did. It's gone up very high, hasn't it? So the hand on this one is up there, which looks to me more like the center. So what's this bone down here? That's my right hand, that's my right forearm. And I wouldn't expect it to be there, I'd expect it to be further down. So let's just quickly double check. If I create one on the right forearm, where does that go? Same place. Did I do it wrong? I did. Look, it says there, right forearm. So apologies to those of you that are watching me do that and saw me do it wrong and probably shouting at me. Let's select the right hand this time. New control. There we go. That's in the right place. It's always good to check your work, right? So we can do. I didn't choose the right control command for that one then, so it's actually put it back in the hierarchy. If this happens to you, it's not a problem. It's parented to the right hand bone. So to unparent it, you press Shift P, which unparents it. There we go. So now that's separated, I can attach it to spine 2. Now I'm going to make this a box thick. Now, as a rule, you tend to have a colour for each side of the body and one for down the middle, usually red and blue on either side. I've used red for the centre. I could change those later. I'd normally use yellow. So I'm going to make my right side of my body blue. So that's going to be a blue box now. Okay, and now I need to connect this up to make an IK chain. Now to do that, I need an IK solver. So let's first of all click and drag the get for the control into my blueprint. So that's down here. And then I'm going to drag out of my execute pin here and create an IK solver. So I just need to type in IK, and I want a basic IK. And there it is. Okay. Now to create the right bones, we need to select them from the rig. So we've got 3 slots here. You want the top, the middle and the bottom, so it can work out the solving. So we're going to start with the right shoulder. Or do we want the right arm? We probably want the right arm. We can start there. Let's see what happens. If we do the right shoulder, it would start to twist the shoulder as well. You may want that, but for a robot, I think it's better that it moves from the joint because it's a socket rather than a bit of flesh. So I'm going to select this and then use the clever Use Item Selector tool, which is really handy if you don't use it. I'm just going to work my way down, right forearm and right hand to represent the 3 bones. There we go. It does something weird straight away. That's expected. Now we need to connect in our transform controls for the hand. This goes into the effector. You see orange to orange, and the hand sort of pops back down again. Okay, now the reason it's gone a bit wonky is because we need to change the axis. Got primary axis and secondary axis here. Now these axes determine which way that the effector is pointing. Now you can work this out by clicking on the bones and having a look at the direction of the gizmo. I can't quite see it, and I don't want to start messing around with looking for it, so I'm just going to try typing these things in and seeing where we get to. So that already looks better, doesn't it, with 0, 0 for the top bone. And maybe that was all I needed to do. Sometimes you have to put in -1 to make something move in the right direction. Okay, let's see what happens if I grab my controller. Does it work? It sort of works, but absolutely not correct at all. So let's keep trying. Let's go back, put that back to 1, and let's put this to 1. Let's just keep figuring this out. So the top bone must need to be inverted. So I'm going to try -1 on the first one. That looks good. And we've got movement now. That's moving kind of how we'd expect. Now the hand we haven't done properly, so it's understandable that's not moving right. We can sort of move it like this. We need to do the rigging on that. And although it's moving, the elbow doesn't know which way to point. And as I mentioned, we need to have a pole on there. Now, those of you that are eagle-eyed would have spotted that on the IK Basic we do have a pole vector pin here. So you guessed it, we need to create a control that we're going to connect into this. So to do that, we're going to click on the middle of the arm, which is the right forearm, which is the one I accidentally clicked on earlier. Right arm, right forearm, right hand. Okay, right click, new, add controls were selected, create a nice little ball. We're going to move that, and it doesn't want to be in the chain with the hand, it needs to be next to it, so it's also going to go on spine 2. The reason for that is it's not part of that hierarchy, it's doing a different job, but it does live on the bit of the body that comes after the spine, i.e. this arm. So it's very important to make sure things are in the right place, otherwise it gets confusing. So for this we just want a, let's see, something different maybe. I don't mind the idea of a sphere. It's kind of clear that that's something that is doing a different job to everything else. It wants to be blue because it's on this side of the body. And then I'm just going to push it away over here so that it's sort of pointing away from the elbow. I might go a little bit further just to be sure. Okay, let's see if I can remember how to do this now. So I'll right click and drag this into the, so not right click, left click and drag it into the blueprint. This is the right forearm controller, which is this ball. And now you notice that we've got this orange node, but we need to connect it to a yellow one. Where's the yellow one? How do we convert it? Well, it's nothing complicated. Just click on this little arrow here to expand the pin. And down here you've got translation, and that is the one we're connecting up. Translation to the pole vector. And now, because it's already connected to the execute pin, if I move this around, you see that the elbow is just sort of flicking around. So if I click and drag the arm now, I should be able to change the direction of the elbow by moving the pole around. So there we go, that is an IK chain. And that's how you make an IK chain for a 3D character, skeletal mesh. You can work out the rest from yourselves from here, because now you've learned how to do the FK system that goes all the way up the spine and the IK system that can do legs and arms. I hope that was useful.